Hot dog. Air. Yeah, here we go.
That's podcast.
All right.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Jesus saw that.
I have no chaser. There's no beer in the fridge.
I think after this weekend, I'm going to not really drink. I mean, I'll probably do the shots on Tuesdays,
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah.
You're going to take a little hiatus from drinking?
I just, it takes so much to get drunk, and then I usually don't, and I just feel like shit the next day.
Well, at least that means you're not an alcoholic, because I heard that if you're once your liver starts to like corrode because of alcoholism, you get drunker like faster.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Well-
that would be bad if you got drunk after like a shot or like a beer or two. You know,
Yeah.
you fell hammered.
I mean, like,
I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that.
you have to drink like really consistently, and you know, like when you have a low tolerance, like you have like a few drinks and you get really drunk, right? But when you don't, it just like you have to drink like really consistently, and it's a lot of money, and like I said, I usually don't end up getting drunk at all, and it just sucks the next day. So I'm gonna take a little hiatus, but this weekend we're going to the Ren Fair, so
Nobody likes a quitter.
I'm
but
obligated.
That's cool.
What's up?
I said nobody likes a quitter, but that's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have a liquor cabinet now at the house. Jesus saw it.
Let's say it.
It's a 100-year-old liquor cabinet I got from my great grandfather.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
And
hella
I
tight.
stocked it up. We got a little bit of tequila, a little bit of whiskey. I got 3 bottles of wine just in case I ever get a female to come over.
Oh yeah. That's kind of what I was trying to start to do here, was just have like all the essential like booze, just because whatever, I don't know. But
I got to get some michelada mix for Jesus if he ever comes back over, because that's the only thing that he drinks. But
Oh, goody.
so what was the jumping off point that you were talking about?
well, as I was pouring the shots, Dev told me, "I'm disgusted by you right now."
Dad told you?
She said, "I'm disgusted by you."
By you?
I was like, "By me?" What? I was like, "That's impossible. I'm not a disgusting person." And then she goes, "Yeah, I heard something about you that's disgusting."
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Wait, did she tell you?
She told me what it was.
Oh.
She goes, "I heard that you got your dick sucked in a porta
Oh.
potty at a mac and cheese."
Oh yeah, I told her that.
And I said, "That's wrong. It was the taco and beer fest." She goes, "Logistically, were you sitting?" Was she said? What was I was like?
She
I
asked
was
me that.
standing. She was crouching. I was like, it was one of those porta potties with like a lot of room next to the opening.
That makes it a lot better.
But you know they bring those porta potties in like 40, 30 at a time, and they're all clean when they come in.
I'm just impressed you were able to get it hard because it was cold as fuck that day.
Hey,
it was in the winter?
Laramie bought 3 flannel.
It was like in January, February.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Terrible.
Yeah.
It was January, late January, and it was.
Oh,
It was
weird.
cold. It
fuck.
was so cold.
And it was terrible planning, because maybe they didn't anticipate it being that cold, whatever. But it was fucking cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, I caught a chub for a little bit. Like I didn't stay hard and I didn't finish. But anyway.
Well,
What would have been worse?
What do you mean?
Would it have been worse if you finished in the?
I wanted to finish. I got blue balls for the rest of the festival. Yeah, like I was.
I don't think we were there that much longer.
We stayed for like another hour. I mean, yeah, maybe.
well, Devaney had asked me. She's like, "Was he like sitting on the thing?" And she was. I was like, "I don't know."
No, I was standing. First of all, I go. I was like, I had to go pee, and she's like, "Do you want me to come in with you?" And I was like, "Well, this can only mean like a few things. So yeah, like come in with me. Like you gonna hold it for me or whatever. I don't know. I actually did pee, and then which is makes it even more fucked up on her part, I guess. Now at this point,
And then Philip and then Philip was like, "I'm gonna go pee in the stall next to him."
And he was like,
he probably put his ear up next to the. My mom never listens to this.
"Oh
I
God,
hope she doesn't either.
Oh God, she won't.
that's
She
good."
She might listen to the George Foreman one.
We stray farther from God's.
What if she gets curious and she's like, "Oh, what was the last one before that?"
And the fact that it's in the very beginning too, like,
Yeah.
no, no.
This is all made up. This is all fiction. We're just having fun here.
This is all just an erotica I'm writing.
An autobiography erotica. Use your own interpretation, audience, whether this is real or not. But
That's our next poll.
and let me know if you think it's disgusting or not too, because I need to know. Do you guys think that that's disgusting?
I should do a poll of whether this is disgusting or not. I do think that's disgusting.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus?
I mean, personally, I think
I'm not judging you, by the way,
Thank you.
but I would never do that.
I think personally, it's like if I'm getting my dick sucked in a porta potty,
Yeah.
then I'm not doing anything wrong. I
Right.
went into the porta potty. I think that if you're the one doing stuff, like if I were to eat a girl out in the porta potty, then I'm like, fuck, I'm nasty.
Rock bottom.
What if I don't touch anything? Like if I
No, exactly.
I still don't touch anything except for like the handle to get in and out. Like
I'm
am I
thinking
really
like
disgusting?
whenever I go into a porta potty, it smells like fucking shit.
No, it smelled like chemical to me. I don't remember what it smelled like actually.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Brad was also drunk, so
I was also
Yeah.
hammered.
I could see that.
Yeah. Do it. I don't think I was smoking weed at that time, so no. Am I disgusting?
No, in the heat of the moment, a lot of stuff happens.
So,
Whoa.
like,
Whoa.
if you,
Whoa.
let's say this: if you guys, if you had the opportunity to get your dick sucked in the porta potty, would you have done it?
Would depend how hot she was.
It has to depend on how hot she was. Okay, you saw her. I mean, she wasn't bad.
She wasn't bad.
She had big ass titties. Like,
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think like Tommy was saying, in the heat of the moment, sometimes
Yeah, sometimes bad ideas just sound good.
sometimes your animal instincts take over.
I'm
That's a
gonna.
good point.
and it wasn't I wasn't the one who was like, hey, come suck my dick in the porta.
That
potty.
is true. That is true because
Yeah.
he was like, I'm going to go pee, and then she legitimately was like, well, I'm going to come with you.
Basically.
And I was just like, all right. And then Philip was like, I'm going to go right next to him. I was like, all right.
I mean, so I think you're outvoted here. Like, I don't think I'm very disgusting at this point. Like, I didn't. Like,
Maybe I'm outvoted here, but I mean,
Yeah, you might just not want to tell that story to people.
you guys are my friends.
look,
Yeah, I wanna hear it.
look. I'm not judging you for it. I don't think I could bring myself to. I mean, and maybe, maybe the smell wasn't that bad, but whenever I think of a porta potty, I can only think of one smell.
Yeah,
It's just like
I don't remember.
shit and piss and the chemical all mixed together.
I don't remember. It didn't. I know that it didn't. I don't remember anything about the smell. I remember it wasn't dirty in there. Yeah, it was like a cleaner porta potty, if that makes any difference. But I remember not being able to finish and like going soft.
Well, yeah, and there's like the
That's
porta
all I
potties
remember.
that like have been sitting there for weeks, and then there's the porta potties that they just set up for a one day event
Right.
type of
That's
deal,
what it was.
which is I get that, but yeah.
Well, I'm
I'm gonna when we go to the Ren Fair this week, I'm gonna be like, hey Devney, hit the porta potty.
see, like, hey, if you find like one that, like, or get there right away and do it.
Those
You
have
know
been
what I
up
mean?
for weeks already.
Dude, I actually knew a girl who told me one time that her and her boyfriend at the time, she like got him off while waiting in line at a ride at Disneyland.
Ow.
See, that's
That's crazy.
How?
Is he wearing like a sweatshirt around the waist? type
See,
deal?
I don't know
Okay.
because like I was just like after she told me, I was like,
He had one-
excuse me, like
He had one of the
there's
hoodies.
probably kids around, like what the hell? So I don't know.
Yeah, that
I
makes
really
it
don't.
worse,
You
actually.
know, that's see because I think that's way worse than the porta potty because at least
Yeah.
you're in private.
Thank you. They're
He-
disgusting. I'm not.
He had one of the hoodies with the single pocket, and then he cut a hole in the.
That's doing too
And the
much. Like,
inside.
I don't like. I'm gonna wear this fucking
And
sweatshirt with a hole in it.
And you know-
Cut me off in the line, babe.
and you know like and I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but like usually like if I like once I like fucking jizz everywhere, I'm like, God, like I'm fucking disgusting. Like what is like? Yes, exactly. And so like in my head, I'm thinking like, if someone did that to me while waiting in line for a ride at Disneyland, I would finish and be like, ew, what the fuck? And then it would just be there, and I'd be like, what the fuck? Like I as a guy wouldn't be like, bitch, keep your paws off me.
That's what Brad needed to happen in the porta potties. He needed to bust.
I never got that clarity.
And then he would be like, what am I doing? I'm in this porta potty.
I probably wouldn't have. I would walk out with a smile, like a smirk.
No, his post-up clarity would be like, get naked, take your pants off.
This is
The porta potty's like,
this is by far.
All of a sudden, we're in the distance and we see if I can tip the fuck over.
oh god.
It wasn't at the end. It was in the middle. We wanted to blend in a little bit because I was like, and then when like coming out, I just like flung the door open and just walked. I didn't even like look at anybody else. I just kept walking. Like, didn't know eye contact with anybody.
Did you guys go out one at a time, or you just both walk out?
What we're gonna do? What if someone else wanted to come in? Like they were definitely gonna see me. Like that's strange.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even like. I just walked out and didn't even look at her. Like I didn't like grab her hand. Like let's go, girl that I just met and gave Mardi Gras beads to for an hour ago.
Good time.
A wild story.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever. I haven't told very many people that story. Jesus was there.
Well, now the internet knows.
I was there.
And now you've told 20 people that story.
I didn't. Yeah.
Do you have any gross public blowjob stories, Coach?
No. I don't even know.
This is our most lowbrow episode that we've ever done, by the way.
Like a car.
Talking about jizzing in his pants at Disneyland.
Well, first of all, I didn't do that. First of all, I did not do that. But I'm sure people are gonna. If people listen to this, are gonna be like, "Oh, that's very typical." Like, yeah, I knew a guy that this happened to, type of thing. But let me reiterate, this was really a girl told me this. It wasn't me.
And we all said it was disgusting, so that's a good thing. You know, like that's way worse, right?
Yes, that's worse.
Yeah.
Yes, that's worse.
Did you guys see the girl who came out of the theater after us, and she's like, I can't button up my pants," and I was like, "Was it?" And I was like, I don't know if they were doing something bad in there, or like
Tonight?
Yeah.
Nah.
The only thing that makes that way worse is like there's little kids all over.
Yeah.
What,
Like
Disneyland?
At Disneyland.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
there's
no,
Yeah,
for
people
sure.
try to have sex at Disneyland all the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm
yeah.
sure they do. I'm sure. it's
But
some
they
sort of
probably
kink.
like sneak off, right? Like not like in the line.
Not in the line.
That's wild. Yeah, that's completely insane. And how do you not get caught? It's just like
I feel like that's one of those things where like people like know it's happening and they're just like,
They just
"Ugh,"
No
like-
way, dude. No, I think if someone actually knew it, especially with all the kids, dude, that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that's cap anyway. I feel like the story's cap.
Like,
it might be.
like,
It might be because
was it like OTP? Because I could see OTP.
Over
it didn't happen to me. It didn't happen to me.
But like,
I'm just retelling what was told to me.
Yeah.
I don't know details. I didn't ask any details or anything. I
I
was
feel
just
like
like,
OTP probably happens all the time, but like,
Hmm.
not in the pants off, probably happens a lot less.
I don't know. I've never. There was one time. My shit. I was a.
no, it's very farm.
I was a junior. No, I was a junior in high school. 7th period math class. We had those bungalow classrooms, and I was wearing my PE clothes. I was in gym shorts. And like, I got like the urge in math. And like, mind you, okay, so like the way the math class was set up, the one that I was in, the rows were, it's rows, right? And I'm in the dead center of the class. That's what I
Oh my
see.
god!
I don't know why I get like I'm in high school, like I'm my hormones are raging, and I get a boner in class.
Oh god, that's the worst.
And it was I just got a boner.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I started like rubbing it to like hoping it would go away. I tucked it, and then I started
Wait, hoping it would
Oh
go
my
away by
God.
rubbing it.
then I started rubbing it more, and then I was like, oh, like I'm onto something here. You know.
Oh no, Brad.
Wait! You're in high school. You've
I was in high school.
ejaculated before,
Oh, yeah.
so
Oh,
you
yeah.
knew
Big
exactly what
time.
was happening.
Lots of times.
You don't just put a textbook on top of it. That's the move.
No, I was already like I was edging myself basically in class, and so
Oh my god.
This might be worse than Disneyland.
why? No, I was in high
No.
school. It's American Pie-esque almost, or something.
Tell
Oh,
yourself
my
whatever
gosh.
you want. Oh,
Maybe I am fucking dirty. I don't know. I'm dirtier than I think I am. I'm just saying it all out loud.
I just knew the move of textbook on the crotch.
You've gotten a boner in class before?
Yeah, everyone
Everyone
has,
has,
right?
yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I don't feel as bad anymore.
No,
No,
yeah.
but we've never rubbed it out and finished it while in class.
I did. It was kind of an accident.
Mine was always like, if I got one in class, I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, puppies, my grandma, okay, like what's gonna make this go down? And then try to like get it, try to get my mind off of whatever. So that was my thing.
And you're like, oh, Vanessa Hudgens.
It'll always be like, oh man, like my physics teacher, oh yeah, my English, oh god, my English teacher's hot. No.
Tony, what was our average watch time? Like I guarantee you, no one's gonna make it past 7.5 minutes on this one.
I think this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
That's
no, for
interesting.
sure. Like,
No.
sounds good.
Yeah. Wait, were you really asking? It's a
No,
minute
it's
and
just a
55
joke
seconds.
because I don't like we just got jerk off and blowjob stories going so far, and I don't know. Maybe people. I mean,
Just like
It's
Brad
funny.
did
there's an
seven
audience.
minutes.
There's an audience for that.
It's funny. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Tom,
I don't.
did you jerk off in public anytime or anything like that?
No, but
Or-
Tom, I don't know if Tom's ever told you guys this story, but Tom told me a story one time where he was like it just randomly, like we were on the phone. It was just me and him, and he just told me, he's like, hey man, did you ever have like a sleepover with a friend? And I was just like, yeah. And I was
Oh,
like,
man.
what? And he was like, yeah, like one time, and this is coming from Tom.
Yeah.
Like he was like, yeah, one time I had a sleepover with a friend, and I thought it'd be cool to like take a picture of like my friend who was sleeping, like a cute picture, like for his mom, and but like it got really hot in the room, and like so he took his pajama bottoms off, and like when I was about to take the picture, like I tripped and fell, and like my mouth fell on his penis. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's from South
The
Park.
closest thing that's ever happened to that, like me,
Whoa, what?
is one time I was hanging out with a friend, and we were at his friend, and he had a douchey friend, and I put my nutsack on his face.
like you teabagged him in his sleep?
Yeah.
Like he was sleeping?
Yeah, and that was not a proud moment.
What did he do to like? Did he?
Kinda
What did
shit
he?
you
Give
do
me
with your
something that he
kids.
did to deserve that because.
He really didn't do anything. He
Oh,
was just,
okay. Well, then, yeah,
we were
yeah.
just douchey 14-year-olds.
Oh yeah.
That's what you. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what you do. You're just
So you-
fucking dumb
You just
as
put your
fuck.
nuts on.
I
So
just
you-
put some nuts. My nuts.
You do
on
So you
something.
mushroom stamped him,
Yeah. And that's not a
and there
proud
was
moment.
other people in the room.
Yeah.
So you took your nuts out in front of
Yeah.
everyone.
I remember when I was
They were all asleep.
in first grade, which this is really fucking weird, and I don't know why.
I don't like where this is going. First
when I was
grade.
in first
No.
grade,
It's good. It's good.
I sat next to this kid. I probably shouldn't even say his first name, but
Don't.
I sat next to this kid. He has the same name as the guy we went to the movies with tonight. So anyway, and yeah, bro, like he would be like, hey, I'd be like, what's up? And he'd be like, yeah. And he'd just have his dick out, and he's like, like
Wiggling
his
it
little
around?
soft little dick. I'm
Oh,
like, ha, ha, ha. Like I'm a kid. I don't know what the fuck to
like
say.
in class.
In class,
Oh.
In
Yeah.
first grade,
in first grade.
he was definitely getting molested.
there was a kid
Oh, you think
that-
so?
Oh, for
Actually,
sure.
now
For
that
he
Definitely
definitely
what?
was. He definitely was getting sexually
something
harassed
Uh,
at
in first grade,
I mean,
that makes sense. Not
there's
because of who
got to
it
be.
was.
I mean, you would think that there would be something else going on. Unfortunately,
yeah.
that to make a kid do that.
Yeah.
And you never said anything.
No,
Hmm.
no. I just thought it was fucking weird. I probably told other kids in
Yeah.
school.
I mean, as a first grader, like, I guess you don't really know what to do.
Yeah, no, I just he was like like he was laughing about it, so I started laughing. I was like, oh, I guess it's funny. And then I think like he was trying to encourage me to pull my dick out, and I was like, no.
Be like, no, that's well.
Yeah, so that's a weird
Poor
one.
kid.
Yeah,
That kid's
got
that
weird.
kid's
that same
How do you
classroom.
transition now?
that kid's definitely going places. Yeah.
Well, that was when I was actually still living in Illinois.
Where Chicago is.
And when I and that and that year, hold on, that year, the Bulls did win
Good
the
try.
championship with Michael Jordan.
Oh man.
So, no, Michael Jordan was a huge deal when I was a kid.
I think
I believe it.
Jordan was a
No,
huge
yeah.
deal when everyone was.
No,
a kid.
no,
No.
especially in Illinois. Bro.
Not when I was a kid.
Forget you're young.
Yeah.
You're young and impressionable.
But
You hang out with terrible perverts like us.
like they would show us like games and stuff, and like him on SNL and stuff, like in class.
Oh really?
In elementary school, because like he was that big of a deal in Illinois because he was representing Illinois. So
Well, let me ask you a question. Where is Gonzaga?
I don't remember where he said in Washington or something.
Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
God, how did you get a job in the basketball division?
So yeah, we watched Air. It was pretty cool. Who wants to do their thing first?
And just like this is what I'm gonna say for Air. This is gonna be the synopsis. And just like Brad getting sucked off in a porta potty, I regret nothing about this movie.
Thank you. Yes, also, which I agree with both of those statements.
No, so
I'm gonna say watch this in a theater.
I'm gonna say watch it in theaters because that's what we're here for. Watch it on streaming. Buy the DVD. Support this movie any way you can.
I'm gonna say watch it in movie theaters, and I will be buying it digitally when it comes out, and I will have it on any device, my iPad, my Apple TV, my phone.
Damn.
Like I know it was great.
I just fucking loved it. I'd say watch it on streaming. I don't know. It's one of those movies that's just like. No. Do you think you got anything extra out of going to the movie theater?
Okay, so with that being said, that'll and we're gonna tread lightly here because I can see where you're coming from that standpoint. So if you do pass it on, I just think watch this movie no matter
that's what
what.
I'm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right, like
I think
cinematically, no, you can pass it in theaters, but don't pass on this movie.
I think you need to watch it in theaters to see the sweat drip off of everyone's face where they're like, oh, did we make a mistake?
I think we need to be a little more specific on what the watching theaters wait for streaming is, because I feel like a couple of us might just use it as a way of saying like we really liked it, we kind of liked it, we didn't really like it, and then some people are seeing it based solely off the fact of like what does it offer cinematically, and so I think we need to like, just for the viewers themselves, we need to like specify, because if that's the case, then like we all need to.
This is not indicative, by the way, of like our rating scale, which is obviously what we do at the end, right?
Yeah.
Like we're just saying, like from a cinematic standpoint, yes, I agree with Tony's point.
I think it's just a recommendation, right?
Sure,
it doesn't matter
which
your
is
reason
fine.
why.
And not to read too far into this, but Jesus makes a good point. Just to specify, you're not saying pass on the movie, right?
No.
Right.
No, and I think if you
will.
say pass on the movie, that does mean you just didn't like it.
No,
probably.
absolutely.
Yeah,
because if you're saying don't even watch it, then obviously you just didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah.
You basically this I'll give the synopsis, or if you guys don't care.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I loved a lot of good things about this. A lot of things about this movie. So this movie was basically Nike's ad campaign in the 80s to brand their basketball and push it forward, because Nike's basketball brand was third in line behind Converse and Adidas as far as their shoes go. They had no real players, and it's basically about Sonny Vaccaro going after Michael Jordan as a brand and expanding and turning into the conglomerate that it is today. So, and it revolutionized the sneaker industry, and I really want to hear Jesus' opinion on this, because he's a sneakerhead. You know, how many pairs of shoes do you own?
Like 60 to 70. I don't know. I lost count.
This dude probably has like he can probably buy like a luxury vehicle with all of his shoes if he were to sell them all. So I mean, it's from that standpoint, like do you think, like, honestly, like without this movie, like you might not even be a sneakerhead, or like without what the happenings of this movie?
Absolutely, because a lot of people nowadays, they look at like the sneaker culture, and they look at especially in the basketball community, they look at the names attached to these sneakers, like signature athletes now are Giannis, John Morant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Paul George, used to be Kyrie Irving, and that's just with Nike. But like back then, as you guys saw in the movie, that wasn't a thing until Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And basically, like the only reason Nike did that with Jordan was because they wanted him that bad, that they had to go to that extreme to get him. And if Jordan would have just gone with Adidas like he wanted to, the sneaker industry would not be what it is now. Like, who's to say maybe someone else came along later on down the road, LeBron, and would have got what Jordan originally got.
That's
that's
literally
like
20
years down the road,
5 years later.
But like this happened in 1984, and it completely changed everything. And then, spoiler alert, it happened in real life, guys. So sorry.
He actually did go to.
He actually did win championships. Okay, but anyways, spoiler alert. The name, image, and likeness thing that his mom was talking about at the very end.
Yeah.
That was extremely unheard of, and that's what guys get now when they get a signature shoe.
Yeah.
And then the little text at the end where it said O'Bannon versus the NCAA.
The Sonny Vaccaro fought for.
Yeah, that Sonny Vaccaro was really big in. That was very huge in college athletics, because when you're in college, you're seen as an amateur. You're not a pro. And so to maintain eligibility, you're not supposed to get paid. But all these colleges make a lot of money off of their sports departments, millions and millions of dollars.
They're making money off of these
players.
Yeah.
And they would sell jerseys with their numbers on them, but not their names. And so like, there's tons of stories. This is straying a little bit, but I'm going to keep it real short and simple. There's tons of stories of guys like signing autographs for literally just like a couple meals, and the NCAA would get them in trouble and would like strip them of certain things and stuff. And obviously, like, doesn't sound right, obviously, because the college is making millions off of them, and they can't even, like, some of these guys are struggling. They don't even make enough money to, eat.
They're struggling.
Yeah.
College
But to go back to the movie, like that, like, it all started with Jordan, because Jordan was as you saw on the phone call, like, Sonny Vaccaro was like, that's not how the industry works.
Like, this is unheard of.
This is unheard of.
So that's why it was so unprecedented that this movie revolutionized name, image, and likeness, and also the sneaker industry, which is, you see, like, now all those people that Jesus mentioned, Ja, LeBron, like there's like Jordan is still outselling them today.
No.
That's how influential that
Jordan itself is still like a subsidiary of Nike, but Air Jordan, like Jordan is its own brand now.
Yeah.
So there's actually players that are signed to Jordan itself,
Right.
and it's not, it has nothing to
Russell
like
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, Zion Williamson,
Mm-hmm.
not John Morant, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum,
Right.
and those guys actually have their own signature shoe with Jordan, which is crazy because back then he was getting his own signature shoe, but now there's guys getting their own signature shoe under Jordan's name.
Yeah.
And no, he
So is Michael Jordan getting a cut of their shoes?
Of course.
yes,
Of course.
That kind of
yes.
sucks. But
dude,
I mean, no, because he's there.
Just how Sonny Vaccaro said, like, or how Phil Knight said, like, it's going to be worth it. Like,
Yeah.
Jordan knows that he's still going to get his cut. They're still going to make their money. Like, that's how big this industry is now.
So sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
No, so with how much this movie is about Jordan becoming the icon that he is,
Mm-hmm.
do you guys think it was weird that he like wasn't in the movie at all?
No, I
it.
think they did that on purpose, obviously, because when Sonny first went to North Carolina to meet with the parents, he asked his mom, he asked Dolores, he said, Is Michael here? He's like, yeah, he's here. He's like, but you're gonna talk to me first. He's like, you'll get your chance to talk to him later or whatever. And so I think they made it a point to not show him because honestly, like, that's what it was. Like, the whole reason he went to the meeting obviously was because of his mom, because his mom made him go to the meeting.
He didn't want to go.
He wanted to go with Adidas. And speaking on that, if he would have went to Adidas, if he would have went to Converse, though, they wouldn't have given him a signature shoe.
No.
Nike had to do that to get him. And they mentioned Larry Bird, Julius Erving, and Magic Johnson having with Converse. They all wore the same sneakers.
Yeah.
All of them. The only difference was maybe the logo was purple for Magic's,
Right.
or green for Larry Bird's, or red for
Just the color
Julius
of the
Erving's.
team, essentially.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the only difference. But they were all the same shoe. Same thing with Adidas. They all had the same shoe. So it was extremely unprecedented for them to design a whole new shoe for just one guy, which is why the whole thing of the little slogan.
That really was a rule back then. Like, your shoe had to be 52% white.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't have more color than that. So the fact that they offered to pick up the fine per game, there's 82 games in an NBA season, like not including playoffs.
No, and they made that a commercial.
$400,000.
Yeah.
They made that a commercial. Like, that was like one of their marketing things. They made it a commercial. Nike did. They like.
I was hoping they were going to show that commercial a little bit, but yeah.
But it's crazy. They made their money back in tenfold. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, what it said, they sold
162 million in the first year.
So,
Yeah.
like, and what did Phil Knight say at the end?
He was like,
Ben Affleck's
he was like, the
character.
most we've ever made on a shoe is 30 million.
3 million.
He's just. Did he say 3?
3 million.
I thought he said 30.
3.
3? He's
Yeah.
How bad could it be?
Right.
How bad could it be? It's just one guy.
But I'm sure they'll take 10 whatever percent that Michael Jordan got off of 162 million, because they're still like highly profitable. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But let's maybe, I don't know. I thought that the acting in this movie was excellent.
The acting.
Oh
Was,
well, all the
amazing.
actors were top notch.
That
That was
excellent.
that was a serious ensemble
Dude.
cast.
Chris Tucker looked.
Yeah, Chris Tucker
He was so like fat. I mean, like,
I
no
thought
offense.
do you see Jay Moore? You know who Jay Moore is? Jay Moore is the American Adidas rep. Like the broad he's a stand-up
I heard
comic
you
from the
mention
90s?
he's a stand-up comic.
Or he did
I
stand-up
know.
comedy.
I know his name. I don't. Yeah, but I don't even know what he,
was the
used to look
Adidas
like.
guy?
Yeah, well, he wasn't. He was the American Adidas guy.
He was
the one that's
He's
like
the
sat
bald
them down.
guy. Yeah.
Like, and kind of like, yeah, that's Jay Moore. He was.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
know who
even
Jay Moore is?
I know who he is. I didn't recognize.
Yeah,
him.
right. He talk about fat. Like, I mean, that dude blew up. But
Chris Tucker was looking like Bernie Mac.
He wasn't that big.
regardless of like,
Bernie Mac
bigger.
isn't
He was
even that
bigger.
fat. He
I mean,
just
a lot
has
of
a
them,
chubby
they
face.
might have gained weight to fit their roles, because Ben Affleck
Yeah.
said he gained, or not Ben Affleck, Matt Damon gained 30 pounds
Okay.
for this role. Like, he said that, like he mentioned that, and
Mm.
so I mean, these are method actors, right? So, like,
Yeah.
everybody in this movie did a great job,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what made the movie for me. And Ben Affleck obviously directed the movie too. I mean,
Yeah, so like I think all like the fundamental stuff like the acting, the script, you know, direction, all that stuff was
the
amazing.
pace of the movie I thought was really good.
Yeah, and
too.
it was only an hour and 51 minutes, which is fucking really good.
Still 21 minutes too long.
No,
I'm really
no, that's like a great amount.
I'm really curious how much of the
soundtrack,
how much of like the dialogue was like pretty spot on, like the conversation, like obviously like the whole like, you know, the details of like contract wise and stuff, obviously that's all factual because it's, you know, what they got. But I wonder how much of like the conversation was really true, like the whole like his mom really being like oh like he's gonna win MVPs, he's gonna win a
or
defensive player of the year,
speech,
yeah,
you know,
or the speech yeah.
Video.
I wonder how much of that, because you know it's obviously it's a true story, but you know sometimes they get a little.
They probably so the only like actual recordings they probably had was from meetings. So that's probably the only thing that could be like 100% if they wanted to even be.
Well, they had some of the guys like consult on the movie.
No, no.
You know.
But I'm saying like to remember the exact conversation.
Sure.
Everyone's going to remember that
right.
conversation.
It's hard to recollect
different.
what happened 40 years ago.
And you still have to write it in a way that it's gonna, the pace is gonna move and people are gonna pay attention, because a lot of times in a normal conversation, like things will be repeated and you know, and so you got to kind of just like. They had to. It couldn't be 100% accurate, but I was wondering about a lot of historical accuracy stuff too.
I'm pretty sure
like,
that this was pretty spot on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they did their due diligence. Like Ben Affleck flew down to North Carolina to talk to Michael Jordan about making this movie, and he said the only way that I'm going to give you my blessing on making this movie is if you get Viola Davis to play my mother.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's why they got Viola Davis in the film, because that was like, you know, Matt Damon said, you know, this movie wouldn't have been made if we didn't get Viola Davis on here.
That's cool.
You know,
that's cool.
You know, she's basically, I mean, she's one of the greatest actresses on the planet. You know, so the fact that she did this was awesome. But they're all, I mean, like I said, they're all excellent. Yeah. I love Jason Bateman's character in this. Like he's always good for, you know, that wry comedy, but. You know,
also like this movie was just fucking funny. Like
it was funny.
I was really funny, disappointed at the rest of the fucking audience. Again, no one was laughing, dude. What the fuck?
Well,
like,
I mean, we do have a little bit of higher intellect, I would say.
I'm starting to think that people that go to the movies are fucking brain dead. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that only our row laughed at.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. There's only a few times that the rest of the fucking audience laughed at all. That's like the good. Just Do It thing that got like I think the whole audience.
The Just Do It, and then the Puma and the Adidas.
What did they say Puma stood for? Put up my ass, maybe.
No. please use my ass.
Oh, please use my ass.
Not as in like use my
Adidas,
ass.
Everybody knew like the acronym for Adidas. All day I dream about sex. You know?
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, no, I heard about that in like second grade.
I thought they were saying please use my ass as in like please use these shoes, like use my ass, like you know what I mean? Like,
oh, I get it. Like the shoes. That's what shoes are talking to the people, like from a first person standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
That's what I thought. I
all day I dream about sex. I incorporated it as like a dirty innuendo, but
well, he did say that one first, and I did it first too. I was like, oh, use my ass. What's that mean for a shoe?
Dude, that was so funny whenever he was talking about how "Just Do It" was like, you know how Chris Tucker said that it's a slogan for an inmate
on death row
on a firing squad. What's your final words? Just do it.
That was probably the best joke in the whole movie. That was amazing.
I laughed. I laughed out loud a bunch. And
I did too.
They weren't forced either.
Yeah,
which is you know sometimes obvious from a theatrical standpoint, right? Like if you go to a theater, you're gonna tend to laugh out loud a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So I think that like also plays into the like go see it in theaters rather than on streaming thing. Like sometimes you tend to force a little bit of laughs. You know when you're in a theater.
Maybe.
And I can feel that I do that.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's like, if I think back on it, you know what? That really wasn't that funny.
Honestly.
But this was.
Honestly.
Genuine.
The acting, like delivered the jokes better. Because, like, there was little stuff even where, like I noticed other people didn't even laugh. And I, like, chuckled because it was just, like, I'm trying to think of the exact instance. But it was one of the moments when Matt Damon was talking to Jordan's mom. and it was just an expression he did back to her, and I was like, it was like when he went to North Carolina the first time, and she said something kind of
when he faked the German accent. She's like, no, just do it. In your
no. That was
that was good though.
That was
good.
just really funny. No, there was just this one little moment where she said something kind of not like snarky, but kind of like, oh, that's true. And his gesture back was like, I was like, you could tell like he was a little like uncomfortable, but also like.
That's just
like he was like, yeah, that's true.
To his acting. What about
yeah,
what about the scene when they're in the bathroom and Jason Bateman's taking the shit? You know,
yeah.
And Matt Damon's in there taking and they're having a full on conversation.
Yeah,
it's like I would have a conversation like that with some of my friends at any given point. You know, about something. You know, like one person's on the pot, one person's at the urinal. It's like, you know, like that's. I feel like a situation like that could have actually happened in real life.
Yeah,
You know, they're the way that this movie was put together was. I mean, to me, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
You guys have a
good soundtrack.
You guys have a favorite character?
I don't know if you guys heard me say that earlier. Good soundtrack.
Oh yeah, it's got a really.
It was a good soundtrack. I thought that I was singing along. You know, I love all those. It fit right in with the 80s.
So
it made you feel like you're in the 80s.
The only one that I was like, does this not fit? And I probably just have the error wrong, but I was almost positive that Violent Femmes song was a 90s song.
Which one? They played two.
The Big Hands.
Sing it.
I think that was early 80s.
It might be early 80s. I mean, it has to be because all the
Blister in the Sun.
Blister in the Sun, yeah.
Let me go on like a blister in the sun.
Don't get us copyrighted.
True. I better stop.
Yeah.
We can sing the song, right? I mean, they do it.
I don't think so.
They do it.
No.
I think
there's been
to cover it.
To answer your question though,
there's been instances where it all depends on like who owns the copyright, but there's been instances where they've claimed people for singing the song.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't sing it. You did, so.
I know. I don't think
to answer your question though, I actually like Ben Affleck a lot. Phil Knight.
Oh yeah, your favorite character?
Yeah.
I feel like
I just
83.
I just liked him a lot because he was very because it's easy to say Sonny Vaccaro, like Matt Damon, is because obviously he was the main character, the main actor. But I like Phil Knight a lot just because he was like he came off as like an asshole at times, but then like you saw how he was actually really cool, and because in real life, like Phil Knight is actually really
because he's got
really
the
smart, obviously, and he's actually
it.
kind of a cool dude. Like he actually still pours a lot of money into Oregon, and he is a big deal to this day still.
Yeah, and I believe that he was really like a Buddhist, like
yeah,
and he had all like he was like a guru type of guy.
I like whenever Matt Damon asks him, Sonny Vaccaro asks him, "What made you change your mind?" I went on a run.
Because a lot of people, I mean, might not know that Nike was a running shoe.
Yeah.
Like, and it says that in the movie, but like Nike was strictly a running shoe. It wasn't like it wasn't known for like soccer cleats or basketball shoes or anything like that. It was a running shoe.
Real quick, I want you to take a guess, both of you. Who are the only? This might be a trick question though, but who are the only 3 athletes who have lifetime contracts with Nike? I think it may be 4 now, actually, but who do you think?
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant. No.
Keep going. I'll let you
LeBron James.
LeBron James is right. You might be right about Kobe because I think
Okay.
Kobe might have got one recently after his passing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're missing one. He's not a basketball player.
Oh, it's
He's not a basketball
No.
player? He's a baseball player?
No.
Why would it, well, yeah, I don't know.
Do you know?
Well, you said he. I was gonna say Serena Williams.
She might too. I don't know. I don't know that. I'm talking about strictly males.
Okay, because if you would have just said athletes, I would have said Serena Williams in there.
That would have been a good guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about like female, but strictly males. But he's not a basketball player.
What sport is he? I might get it. They probably.
Once I tell you the
Is it
sport,
running?
no. Once I tell you the sport, you're gonna get it.
Okay, so it's not baseball. You said.
No.
I was going to guess Bruce Jenner
Is
for a
it
second.
Beckham? I don't know why.
You're in the right sport, but it's not Beckham.
Oh, So
Beckham was with Adidas, by the way.
It's Ronaldo then.
It is Ronaldo.
Okay, because Messi's with Adidas.
Adidas, yeah. The Kobe one, like I said, I haven't seen. I don't know the full details because like they actually had a split after Kobe passed because his contract was running out anyways, and then his wife had a dispute with Nike because they were making the shoes exclusive and like they were like basically trying to profit off of them, and she didn't like that. They're back together now, but I don't know the details of the contract. I think it might be lifetime, honestly, but
which it should be.
It should be, yes.
Honestly, like just due to everything that happened to mend that,
And when I was mentioning Nike athletes earlier, I didn't mention Kobe just because I was mentioning like current guys playing, but Kobe obviously was a Nike guy, and he probably has like statistically currently in the NBA, the signature shoe that gets worn the most out of basketball players now are Kobe's.
Okay.
That's a combination of a lot of things because he also kind of revolutionized the shoe game with his shoes because the Jordans and every basketball shoe were high tops. Kobe was the first guy to make low top signatures, and he did that because he was a soccer fan, and in soccer their cleats are low top.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so on top of that, and then obviously like people just loved Kobe. So
Tony, you got a favorite character?
Man, I guess Sonny. I liked Dolores too, but yeah, Sonny. He's funny.
Yeah.
Constantly like
there's so many good
being
characters
witty
in
the
this.
whole time. Yeah.
Tommy boy.
So I know you guys think I'm gonna pick the shoe guy, but it's actually the agent Falk. I think.
It was very funny.
You know what? We haven't. I forgot about the lawyer guy was good.
Oh no, Chris Messina. That's who plays him. He was very good. I'm trying to figure out.
I'm gonna shrivel up your balls and I'm gonna eat your balls.
There's tissue right there. On the floor right there.
And then what if I do close the deal? They're gonna be best friends. Well, I'll see you Monday.
I wish I could say it was a pleasure.
He was great. I'm gonna eat your nuts.
You think that dude was really that much of an asshole in real life?
Yeah. Oh, he's an
because
agent.
at the end they said he sold his company for $100 million, and this
and then
he was maybe that was a little.
I think that was a dig at him.
A little dig.
Yeah,
but,
I think so.
I feel like these actors did their research. I feel like.
I also feel like see, I'm not that big of a Jordan guy to really know like a lot of details about his career and life, but that to me made it feel like a lot of guys weren't really fans of him. I don't know if that he might have been his longtime agent or anything, but like the way they portrayed him, like obviously he's an agent, so he's an asshole, but the way they took the dig at him like that at the end, like it made me feel like maybe like he wasn't very well liked anyways in general.
I think a lot of those guys have a really like a good professional relationship, and I think they respect each other a lot from like a business standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, yeah, I can see them like maybe really not like.
Generally speaking, agents are kind of just shitty people.
They're narcissists.
Yeah, they like managers are more respected, like because they're more like personally involved, but yeah, like a lot of times agents, like people kind of like, oh, you're just taking my money, which is pretty much true, and that's why he made a point that when he was talking to him, well, good, they're starting to see exactly how useless you are as as an employee or whatever he said.
That's why he got mad at him for going straight to the parents. He was like, "You're showing like how invaluable I can be."
Yeah. Could you imagine being 19, 20 years old and like, because as I was watching the movie, I like put myself in Michael Jordan's position and was like, to me, it's crazy because like back then it was like Nike was a small one and Adidas and Converse, but nowadays Nike's the big one. Yeah. Nike's the big one. Everyone wants to do Nike. Because of Michael Jordan. But could you imagine being 19, 20 years old and like all these shoe brands are coming after you and you tell your parents like, I'm signing with Nike. Like, we'll meet with other people, but I'm signing with Nike. And then a little company comes out that's like, you know, and they're just like, hey, you know, our basketball division is really not that great, but this is what we're going to offer you. And this is like our vision we have after you. Could you imagine how hard it would be to just like,
I don't know. Are they going to get a Sonny Vaccaro speech? Like, I don't know that. Like, who then again, was he was my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of great characters. Rob Vassar was Jason Bateman's character was probably like a second for me just because I like their dynamic. But yeah, the Matt Damon I thought killed it.
Yeah.
And there, you know, basically there would be no Air Jordan without Sonny Vaccaro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There would be no brand without that guy. And he did such a good job in this movie, like where you, like as you said, like he drew you in. He was witty. He made you laugh. He was so sharp. I like guys like that are so quick, you know. And I mean, he made everything go. Everybody believed in him. Like, it's easy to pick him as your favorite character because
Well, I mean,
he's the main guy. But like for me,
I generally land on my favorite.
I did like Film Night a lot too. Like
Mhm.
I like, I mean, Chris Tucker's character.
Oh yeah, he's great. Howard
White.
Yeah. He's funny.
The shoe guy.
Peter. I think it was Peter.
Oh yeah, Peter something. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
He was great.
I want to get his name right because
Honestly,
he deserves it. But, I mean, everybody in this, Viola Davis, like she killed it as his mom.
Yeah,
you know, as Jordan's mom.
I'm really glad they wrote it funny too, because like
Matthew Mayer is the guy who plays Peter Moore, who is the designer.
Peter Moore,
who is the designer of the shoe.
That sucks that he didn't get to see the movie, but yeah.
Yeah, I like that they honored him.
Yeah, they honored him. At the end,
I wonder if that was like his he was really neurotic like that in real life, you know, and like
probably
talked like that and everything.
I like when he goes in like, hey, so that was you skateboarding in the parking lot. What's all midlife crisis?
Maybe he's having a midlife crisis. So what was that all about? I'm having a midlife crisis.
Oh yeah, I'm having a midlife crisis. That's great.
Yeah, Peter. So Peter Moore designed the Jordan 1s and also the Dunks, and you can probably tell because they look very similar. Apparently. The Jumpman logo, because the Jordan 1 is the only Jordan that has a Nike swoosh on it.
Yeah.
Every Jordan past that has his Jumpman logo on it. Mm-hmm. But actually, Tinker Hatfield is who designed Jordan 3 through the 15, and you can tell that actually, because the Jordan 1 and Jordan 2, like design wise, you can tell the difference between the Jordan 3 through the 15, because the Jordan 3 through the 15, obviously they look different, but you can tell the silhouettes are kind of the same. Yeah, like on those. Okay. But I actually had this conversation with a lot of people, and a lot of people, like, it's hard for people to like say like, oh yeah, I agree with that, because they just it's a very unpopular thing. But Jordan was so great that honestly, a lot of Jordan's shoes, if you don't slap the Jumpman logo on them, people would think they were ugly. Like, honestly, like I personally think that.
Like sneakerheads, you mean? Or
just in general, like if you look at Jordan shoes, like a lot of people, like without the Jumpman logo, like if someone put those shoes out and it didn't have the Jumpman logo on them, or you didn't know they were Jordans, a lot of people would probably just be like, oh, those are okay. But Jordan was so great that you saw him
like Yeezys.
I guess, yeah. But like Jordan was so great that you would see him on the court doing these things on the court, jumping from the free throw line, switching hands in midair, like
that's why
this.
That's why they said they're just shoes
until my son puts them on.
Until he steps into them.
Until he steps into them.
And it's funny you say that, because I really can't picture them like maybe being ugly, because I have the perception
because they're Jordans. Exactly.
You know, so it's an interesting concept to think about, I guess. Yeah. But you know, I owned a pair of Jordans whenever I was younger. Actually, a couple pairs. I don't have any now, but Jordans. It was for the same reason back then that Michael Jordan wanted to join Adidas, because it was cool. That's the reason when I was a kid that I wanted Jordans. Because
it was cool.
Because it was cool. Yeah. So like, because he made it that way.
And as someone who has played basketball, I'm here to tell you, like, Jordans are not very comfortable to play basketball.
That's what I've heard. I've heard those Jordan 1s. Those are
the Jordan 1s are, dude, like,
they're regarded as the most uncomfortable pair of shoes to wear, right?
Super uncomfortable.
To hoop in.
They're literally more like lifestyle shoes now, which, if you remember in the movie, they mentioned that they're like, we want something that like people are gonna want to wear like all the time, not just playing. And they did that with the Jordan 1. The Jordan 1, I think, is probably the most popular one because of how many colorways they put out and how you can wear them. Like, people don't play in them. Like, that's why it's crazy to me that people like Jordan played in them, because they're flat. They're terrible.
I don't know. They made it look pretty tight whenever
But
it was in
also-
the case.
Also, they were playing in fucking Converse, which are also not.
No, very
Like-
true. Shoe technology has come a long way for sure.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. There was also. Was there enough emotional attachment in the movie for you, Tom?
So I was gonna say, like, I really wasn't into it. I was like, oh, this is okay. And then Jason Bateman had the daughter speak. Fuck, they got me. I was like, I get it.
He reeled you in.
Yeah, I was like, I get it. You got me. All right, Jason Bateman. This is Ozark all over again.
You weren't thinking of the risk of like.
I mean, honestly, for me, like, you guys probably, because you guys don't know, but seeing his dad I was like, oh shit, because like I know how like his dad tragically passed. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention how close he was, like how much his dad
I
meant to him.
watched The Last Dance.
Well, then that's why he like played
Yeah.
baseball and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was it was just enough to kind of like, give you that. For you, I knew. I thought of you right in the midst of that scene, because I was like, oh, there's Tommy's emotional attachment.
touching on that too, I loved how whenever Matt Damon, Sonny Vaccaro, was giving the speech, it was showing like clips, like real life clips and like stuff of him, like Jordan, like, oh, like they're gonna build you up, they're gonna build you up, and as soon as you get to the top, they're gonna tear you down. And then they start showing like all the bad stuff, like and like that was
the car crash,
the car crash, like his dad like getting shot, like all that, like.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a beautifully done movie. I mean, and it was fast paced enough for there wasn't a lot of pauses in the movie to like I wasn't ever bored in it.
No.
And I thought because the acting was so good in it, it was gripping to me and funny. I can't say enough good things about this. I don't know about you guys. You guys got anything else to say? You can go ahead and say it. I'm ready to rate, but
So I gotta say one negative thing.
That's fine.
I know.
That's
this,
fine. Well,
look,
we can't always agree on everything.
Look.
So
it's not about the movie at all.
okay.
It's about Nike. And
oh, okay.
all right, so it is kind of. I guess it's kind of about the movie in a way, because it was all the way at the end, and I totally wasn't thinking about this until they show that last little tenet that they have of like, if you do the right thing, money will come damn near automatic or something like that, right?
Oh, when they were doing the bulletin point things,
yeah.
like as
Yeah,
the movie went on,
So like their 10 tenets of whatever,
Yeah.
how they run their business, which Google had a similar thing, like always do good or something like that, right? And like I started thinking like, wait, isn't this the company that like does all their labor overseas in China with fucking
Korea, I think is what they said, right? Maybe it's China now. I don't know.
Taiwan and stuff like that.
yeah, like with children paid pennies to make their shoes and
the sweatshops and China.
And so I almost wish that they just wouldn't have shown that last one, because it clicked in my mind. I was like, wait, this is Nike we're talking about.
But maybe
That
they
is
weren't
an
like that
evil
back then.
No, and they weren't. They weren't.
Well, they also said that the 80% of their production was in Korea, though.
Yeah,
they
were
literally
also
said that
like-
in the movie.
Korea is not the same. Like
Okay, I
No,
don't know.
I know, I know, but
I
it's-
already know what I'm gonna
no,
rate this thing.
no, Korea is very similar to the United States.
Yeah.
Like they have minimum wage and shit over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Taiwan and China, they do
North
not.
Korea?
They probably
Well,
also.
Well,
don't
it
have-
wasn't in North
just kidding.
Korea. but so let me say though, the only reason that left a bad taste in my mouth was because I was like, I was like, this movie was probably majorly funded. Well, one, it was an Amazon movie, which then I was like, wait, this is an Amazon movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jeff Bezos is a piece of shit. And so all these things start going through my mind, and I'm like, it's probably majorly funded by Nike, and
I'm
it's
having
kind of
Hasbro flashbacks right
it's
now.
it's kind of like a little bit of a puff piece for Nike.
Yeah.
But the movie was really good, and I'm not taking anything else. I'm not taking anything away from my rating or anything based on that. I just
You just had to say it.
yeah, and then the whole ending thing was about like how much money they made. I was like, oh, they're just like gloating about how much money they made now. And
well, they're putting the numbers in perspective to his contract, like comparative to what it was.
No,
and
yeah,
to where it is now.
It's not like the Michael Jordan like aspect of it. I'm glad that he was able to, become so successful off of that and everything. It's more that it's Nike, and like I said, back then it wasn't as terrible as it is now. And so I don't know, same thing with Google. Google wasn't a bad company until 15 years ago or so, and they started just like
So morals.
they actually even mentioned this in the movie. Like they talk about how shitty corporations are. Like it's just like the characters are like,
I mean, we know,
and that's what happened, and everyone knows that, and it's obvious.
So moral of the story is everything turns shitty eventually.
So I'm reading this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and it talks about that in there.
Talks about what?
Just like, like you can't do any, you can't control, you have no control over that. So just, just like I'm subtly not giving a fuck.
There's a quote that I like to say, and it's not from that book, but it's the same thing.
I'd like to hear it.
And it's don't I hope I get this right. Don't worry about not being able to move mountains. Be glad that you're not asked to.
I know this little quote.
So I have it. Go. I'll let you tell your quote
it
first.
It goes, "Don't worry your little head, Dolly."
No, you're thinking, "Don't worry, darling."
No, don't worry your little head about it, Dolly.
Yeah.
So I have a quote too that I usually live by because it's kind of along the same lines as what you said, but and kind of along the lines of you saying subtly not giving a fuck. But my quote that I live by is that a lion doesn't worry about the opinions of sheep. So
lions don't even meet sheep. I hate that. Of course a lion doesn't care about a sheep. Where's a lion going to meet a sheep?
Exactly.
I have a saying.
Yeah, so Brad's been reading Moby Dick, but anyways.
Just do it.
All right, you guys ready for the ratings?
I've been ready.
Yeah, let's do it. So, Tom, you want to go?
All right. So, I don't know if you guys are gonna like me for this, but I'm gonna give it an S.
Oh.
I thought it was really good. I know it wasn't as heartfelt as A Man Called Otto, but it felt more personal than A Man Called Otto. Like, I know that there was a story there, and there's a guy, and it was about his life and his neighborhood and stuff like that. But I really felt like this movie just felt more personal. It felt like people struggling against something instead of a feel-good story about a person struggling against something, and then at the end it all works out because a reporter is there.
Well, because it was real life.
Yeah, it was a biopic.
Yeah.
It was,
And I said that if we were gonna have an S, it's gonna be a biopic or it's gonna be a kids movie.
And honestly, like the ending of this movie, if you didn't know, was like if someone made this movie and it wasn't real life, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's fair that of course it's gonna end that way because that's like it's all gonna work out at the end. But this worked out at the end. That's what's crazy about it is how it all ended up working out.
And while they were making their decision on who they were going to go with, the Jordan family, like you literally knew that they were going with Nike, but I was still like, oh man, are they going to pick Nike? You know what I mean? Like in the back, like subconsciously, yes. You know what I mean? Like I knew that they were going to choose Nike, but like it was like, oh man, like
No.
you feel bad for Sonny Vaccaro. You feel bad for everybody.
Whenever Howard calls Sonny and says, "Hey man, I thought I'd tell you,
Adidas matched the offer.
Adidas matched the offer, and they're giving him the car." And I was like, and when they said that, I was like I said, we all know he's going with Nike anyways, but I was like, fuck, how are they gonna match the car?
Exactly. But it's like that's how. And I'm giving it an S also.
Okay.
Because first of all, I think this is the best movie that I've seen all year. I liked everything about it. I can't personally find anything bad to say about it. So for me, it's an easy S. There's no S minus or S plus in my rating scale. There is just S because S stands alone. This movie was an S for me.
And it's also an S for me. It was an S when we left the theater. I already knew it was going to be an S going into the theater, and for me to think it was going to be an S going into the theater, and then for me to come out and still be like, yeah, that was definitely an S. Like it definitely I worried about it being boring because I knew what was going to happen, but there was a lot of little small details that I didn't know about the story completely. And maybe people that are super into Jordan, because I'm not a huge Jordan guy, so maybe people that are super into Jordan knew all those little details too. But I feel like there's a lot of details that I feel even people that were really into Jordan wouldn't completely know.
There definitely was stuff it was just more like behind closed doors at Nike type of stuff.
Yeah, and so again, like I would watch it in theaters. I would watch it on streaming. I'm gonna buy it on digital. I would watch it tomorrow in theaters again. Like it's an S for me. Like you said, no negatives for me. I liked all the actors. I liked all the characters. I was emotionally attached to it. It was like very personal to me because I'm really into shoes, and so it's an S for me.
All right, before you ruin all our hopes and dreams,
I'm not
Tony.
Well, what?
What did our fifth at the theater say about this movie?
Are we gonna? Are we counting his for anything?
No.
Okay.
Because he's not here on the podcast, we would count him, right? Obviously, we counted Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he gave it an A. But I don't think he totally he was trying to look for comparisons, which I think is always going to sway opinion. So I'm just like, man, just give it your rating. You know what I mean? And he gave it an A, which, Scott's favorite movie is
Forrest Gump.
That's my favorite movie, actually. So be easy with that.
I've never watched Forrest Gump, so
no, I was going to say good. Fucking Machete or something.
Fucking
no, he gave it an A.
Borat.
That's a good movie. Anyway, Tony's gonna he's gonna try to give it a C so that way it doesn't.
No. It's gonna stay at an S no matter what, but I'm gonna give it an A, and I think that's a really good. I think that's a really good rating, and I think it's a really good. If I was doing a Brad rating, I'd give it an A plus. So
okay.
So
it was a great movie. Around, it was a great movie.
If this would be the only scenario, so where if you were to give it like a C because of the Nike thing at the end that you didn't like, I would be like, Tony, that's fucking ridiculous. But either way, you're entitled to your opinion, and that's what I want to continue to stress is that like our opinions. We're not. What type of podcast would we be if we agreed on everything all the time?
Yeah, and it's still saying it an S on the
I think
final
so.
board.
So
and it. I don't know.
So as a sports movie, Creed or Air.
This isn't a sports movie.
Sports adjacent movie.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to put this in a sports category as well. I mean, because
do you think it's harder to compare it to A Man Called Otto or Creed?
I think it's more comparable to A Man Called Otto for me because
Then did you
I don't feel like it's hard to compare it to either of those, but yeah.
I agree. Yeah. But I think
it's more like Wolf of Wall Street, if anything.
I think Tom's saying that is because those are our A movies that we rated this year, which I get. So, man, look at that up there. We finally got our first S of the year.
I just want to say that I came into this movie really grumpy.
Really?
And I left really happy.
Oh yeah, because you're water.
Yeah, because you're water.
Oh, it's
What
not even
happened
that.
to
It
your
was my.
water?
So I went there and I asked for water, and she said we only have. She was like, rang it up, and she's like, oh, we only have small waters. And I was like, that's fine. It's water. Just give me the water. So I asked for the small water, and then she ran around for 5 minutes,
Oh, yeah, Jesus was like, "What is Tom waiting for?" And I was
and
like,
then
"I
she
don't know."
came back and she's like, we don't have any small water. Someone's gonna go get some. Do you mind waiting around? And I was like, well, my movie's gonna start in like 2 minutes. Can you just give me a cup? And she's like, I could, but we'll have to refund you, and then you'll have to buy a cup. And I was like, for 50 cents? I was like, no, I'll just come at the end of the movie and get a water bottle or something like that, or when I get a break. And she's like, oh, okay.
I mean, that's kind of.
And then I got my hot dogs.
You looked annoyed whenever we were all standing there.
And I opened my hot dogs, and the hot dog was split in half. Like, not down the middle, like, not the hot dog. The entire hot dog was, like, ripped in half.
The audacity.
How?
Your $2 hot dog?
It was, like, ripped in half. And I was like...
Wow. Huh.
And then I was rushing, so I got my mustard, and I put my little carrier thing in the mustard, because someone had just, like, poured a bunch of mustard.
Oh, yeah. Some
And it was on
lady
my
was there,
hand.
like, filling up cups of it, and, like...
You had
I
a bad
guess
start
just-
to the movie.
And I had a bad start, and I was like, I hope this isn't, like, how this movie goes. And then I watched it, and I was like, this was really good.
That just made you forget about it.
Yeah.
And then me and Jesus, like, it was like a spiderweb effect. I walked into the theater because I was the first one there for the first time in the history of doing this. I saw someone carry out the hot Cheeto popcorn. And so I immediately wanted it. And I said I was probably never going to get it again.
Yeah.
And then my brain triggered.
Was it better this time? Was it
It was the
the
same.
same, but it was worth it?
I don't know if it's worth it because it's $7 and it's not a
It
very
is
big
very
thing. But then
expensive.
Jesus also said that he enjoyed it, but he would never get it again. And then when he
And then
saw
I saw
mine,
him with it, and I was like, damn, I'm going to get that
he saw
again.
mine, and we didn't even say anything to each other. Like, and then after he got his, I saw that he had his, and I had mine. And I walked up to him. I said, "Do you remember last week when we said this was good, and that we would never get this again, though?" And then we both got it again the next time we were here.
And then what did I say when I walked in? What happened the last week, you guys?
Yeah.
Well, can we
And
talk
then
about
Jesus
something
goes, "You're
else?
splurging, my boy," and I'm like,
Can
"Was
we-
that a hot dog in my
Can we
pocket?"
talk about something else that happened to Tom? Is some fucking assholes tried to take his seat?
Oh, I
what
forgot
was
about
that about?
I think they honestly just sat in the wrong seat.
Yeah.
I think that they knew that that weren't their seats, but they didn't want to. He just didn't want to be touching elbows with a stranger or something.
Well, now he's touching elbows with two strangers.
Oh,
so.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
knew.
not
like
that guy.
he tried.
but-
He tried to pull his phone out and be like, "Look," and it's like, "Yeah, look, like look at your." Anyway, that's.
I don't think I just don't.
Well,
think
I
they
was
looked at
just-
the
I was
scene.
just
Tom
saying-
apologized. to
Yeah,
him.
why did you apologize?
Sorry for making you get out of my seat.
Yeah, I mean, when you said thank you for moving, that's one thing, but then saying sorry, it's like,
Yeah, you could have been.
and he didn't apologize to you.
Yeah, you could have been a total
He knew
Karen.
he was wrong.
You
He
could.
should, but he should have apologized if he knew he was wrong. He should have been like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
You could have been a total. You could have been a total Karen and been like, "We come every week, and we always get the edge seats.
No.
So I know what seats these are."
That's Tom, though. That's how Tom is. Like he didn't want any problems, but the dude was like the fact that he pulled his phone out and tried to show
Yeah.
him. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
that's look at your seat and look at your.
Look what it says. It
I
says
don't-
5 and 6.
I
in there,
don't. I
dumbass.
do wish that theaters put like on the back of the headrest they put the numbers.
Yeah.
Because
There's the numbers on it somewhere, right? On the
the
front or
numbers
something.
are on
It's
the
on the
front,
front.
Yeah,
but it is
yeah.
kind of dark and it's like a little number.
Yeah.
He knew.
And if you
But
just
it's
see
lit
one,
up,
you sit
isn't
down.
it?
He knew.
Yeah, but it
Just
doesn't
look at
matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They know.
So,
All right, what do we got next week, guys? We got George Foreman.
George Foreman.
And we got a
Foreman.
special guest, not on the podcast, but at
Yeah.
the theater.
Tam
So that's
Would,
Yeah,
Tam.
would Tam
interesting.
Tam like this movie?
Would Tam Tam like this movie? Yeah. Oh no.
There was
They-
no GDs in it though. I'm pretty
but
sure.
they-
But there was
They
there
say
was some
fuck a
there was
lot.
some fucks in there.
But there was no. She's more concerned about GDs than she is fucks.
I don't think
Were there any
was.
GDs? In
I
there?
didn't.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I just
there were
I just
several
remember-
fucks.
David Falk didn't go. I'm gonna make sure your goddamn career is.
I don't recall any. GDs.
Yeah, I don't either. But I don't.
I think Tam Tam would have.
Not like the beginning, but she would have.
I think Tam Tam would have liked how. Look at how Michael's mom really believed
Yeah,
in
yeah.
him.
For sure. They didn't mention God at all, I don't think.
No.
That's a big deal. But I think Tam Tam will like next week.
There'll be enough God in that one.
Yeah, he gets baptized in a river, so she's gonna love that.
I hope she
I'm
cries.
excited for. You hope she cries. You
Yeah.
hope my mom cries.
Tears of joy. Of
We'll have a
happiness.
talk about that after the podcast is over. Thanks. All right, so we got Foreman. What's it
Fuck
called?
yeah. I don't remember what it's called. Does anyone remember what it's
I
called?
actually
It's
don't know
called
what it's
Foreman.
called.
Foreman.
Is that what it's
Something like
called?
I wanted to see Shivali after that, but I just realized it's gonna be
So
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
So I told Tom next week doesn't have to count as his week because that's Tam Tam's pick. Is that fair?
Well, you guys can do whatever you want because technically I went out of turn anyway because Jesus' pick was last week and then we moved it this week because we had the Mario Brothers thing,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
however you guys want to do it, whatever's fair for you guys because next week Tam Tam's already got her heart set on going to
Yeah,
movies
yeah,
with us.
yeah.
So we can realign and reset kind of after that and get back into our normal order. But yeah.
Let's see. It's called Big George Foreman.
Okay, cool.
Big George Foreman,
Yeah,
huh?
Big George Foreman next week.
All right, cool. Well,
All right.
thanks everyone for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and go on Apple. They are officially up on Apple now. It's been a pain in my ass to get them on there, but they're on there, and
Thank
you
you,
can leave
Tony.
us a review.
Thank you, Tony.
I don't. Yeah, you're you're welcome. But it's done now, and now it's easy. So now
if
they'll
you guys
all
want
go
to
up
start
on there
donating
consistently.
Patreon money to us now, that way we can get you some better content and start making some swag, all that kind of stuff.
All right, I'll make a Patreon. Patreon is really easy to make, so I'll make
Okay,
a
cool.
Patreon this week, and then we can.
Nice.
__ La Flama Blanca.
We'll just say
_
right now,
_
there's a down below. There's gonna be a link to the Patreon. So
Nice.
sweet.
$2 hot dog.
$2 hot dog.
That's a podcast.
Peace out.